What's up, guys? I didn't have an intro. I don't give a fuck about an intro. That's not what this is fucking about. All right. So I'm gonna talk. What we're gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about the releases. We're gonna talk about the fucking about this fucking WWE being deemed essential to continue. We're gonna talk about it. You may not like. I'm telling you right now. You're probably not gonna like what I have to say. But guess what? I don't give a fuck. I'm sick and tired of fucking people telling me how I should think or how I should feel about this. All right, fucking people are fucking dumb. All right. Um, some of you have seen me on Twitter fucking telling people to shut the fuck up and get facts. If you have facts, bring them before me. Bring them before me. But they're evidence. It's not facts. You can't prove. You've got to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that WWE is shady in this manner. Um, I don't think they are. I think and it has nothing to. I don't think it has anything to do with them releasing talent today. I don't think it has anything to do with it. People are gonna think it is seems kind of conspicuous. Everything's. If I go take a shit in the fucking bathroom and it smells in there, and I come back and sit down, I can blame it on Wendy. I mean, come on, people. You got to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was me. Okay, think about it. I'm trying to make people understand that. Look, I get it. If you have this point that fucking WWE did this, that, and this, who cares? Why do people fucking? This is my question, and nobody's been able to fucking answer it. Why do you give two fucking shits if WWE is deemed essential? Why does it fucking matter to you? I could give a shit. I don't care. They may be deemed essential.
Essential.
Think about it.
Think about it.
McDonald's is deemed an essential business. But if they say, yeah, we're going to close, who cares?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's why I'm so fucking confused as to why people give two fucking shits whether or not WWE is deemed essential. Who gives a fuck if they paid $18.5 million to fucking Florida's government to help their economy? Who gives two fucking shits? And by the way, those talents that got released today, yeah, it sucks. But guess what? There are people worse off than they are right now. And everybody's fucking having a fucking pity party on Twitter for these fucking people. I don't feel one bit fucking sorry for them. Sorry. I don't care. I don't care about half the people that were on the fucking release list anyway. Why should I care? Why should I give two shits about somebody that doesn't give a fuck about me? Does that make any fucking sense? They don't give a fuck about you. Rusev Rusev could give a shit if I got laid off from work or not. I might say, hey, I got laid off. He'd be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What's he gonna do for me? What is he going to do for fucking me if I get laid off? Nothing. I ain't gonna fucking do nothing for them. They probably stop buying all these lavish excuse me. Stop buying all these lavish cars. Stop buying all these. Go rent an apartment, a cheap apartment. Yeah, shut the fuck up. People need to stop. It is atrocious how people are acting on Twitter right now. It is absolutely disgusting. I feel bad for them that they got released. Yeah, I feel bad for some of them that they got released. Not all of them, because half of them were just there to collect a paycheck. They didn't give a fuck whether or not. Drake Maverick even said it in his video. He said, I was happy just being there. But you're not happy fucking competing? So what I'm trying to say, this essentially is what he was saying. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay. What did Drew McIntyre say? about, I don't know, a year and a half ago. Didn't he say complacency gets you
Yeah.
nowhere? Apparently, it gets you on the unemployment line now.
Yep. Which half these fucking people should have been released a year
Well,
ago.
they should have been. I mean, let's go down the list. Let's go down the list. Now, some of these people were furloughed. They were not, and if anybody knows what furlough means, it means they're released from their place of work, and once they're called back, they aren't released. They aren't fired. These producers, all the producers apparently were furloughed. So like Fit Finley and Pat Buck and Mike Rotunda and Scott Armstrong, Sarah Stock, Shane Helms, Lance Storm, they were furloughed. They were not released. They were furloughed. I've been furloughed before. You can't work, so you can't get paid. But once you come back, they back pay you. That's what furlough means.
Yeah.
They back pay you or give you some sort of benefit. And you can collect unemployment at this during this time too. Okay? And I don't know what's going to happen with these people. Half these people I don't think will probably be stuck in the Indies for the rest of their career. That's all I can tell you. But I'm going to go down the list and I'm going to talk about a few of them as we go as Gina joins us. What's up, Gina?
Hey,
What's
Jenna.
up, guys?
Not much.
What's
Just
up,
sitting here
Gina?
talking about WWE, of course. All right. So the first few names on the list, the first, I would say the first person on this list is shocking to me because he really hasn't done anything, and that's Kurt Hawkins. He hasn't done anything. I mean, why have the guy sit there and collect a paycheck? Vince is protecting his assets, and he has every fucking right to protect his assets in any means necessary. Okay? That is why he's looking to the future. He's not looking at the present now. I need to do this now for the future. I'm not doing this just because.
Yeah, but in the same
No.
sense, a lot of the talent that he released
Hmm.
would have been great for the future, but yet a lot of the talent that he
Okay.
kept are ones that are older.
Like who?
Brock Lesnar,
Brock
freaking
Lesnar.
Cain Velasquez. He's still got that thing with Tyson Fury.
Okay. But are they being paid as of right now?
As far as I know, Cain Velasquez alone was like $3 million.
But is he
Brock
being
Lesnar's a $10
okay?
million deal.
But
I
that
mean, I understand keeping Brock Lesnar because it's fucking Brock
it's Brock
Lesnar,
Lesnar.
but
Cain
yeah.
Velasquez, they're not going to get rid of Gronkowski because he'll bring in the views for them. He will. It won't, not a lot, but it will. It's money for them. But again, I just think about everybody on this list besides the producers who were furloughed. They were not released. They were not fired. They were furloughed,
Wait,
which means they will be coming back.
here's my question though. Like
Hmm.
every single WWE employee is actually contracted through the WWE. They're not actually employees. They're actually they're contracted
That's
as independents. So how can they be furloughed?
the producers are employees. They're employees.
They're salaried. Okay, so like the wrestlers are
The
none of the
wrestlers
wrestlers are
are
furloughed.
yes.
They're
What
just
he
gone. Okay.
furloughed. Well,
Okay.
I think that Andrea Listenberger will probably not be called back.
No, and Kurt Angle was the only producer fired.
Well, he was released because he was under
Yeah.
a contract.
Yeah, it was like a Legends contract or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Kurt Hawkins got released. The next two kind of surprised me, but I kind of see why, and that is Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows.
Yeah.
I
I
think
th-
personally they should go back to NJPW, and I'll tell you why. Because I told Heather this day, and Gina, you might like this. Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows go back to New Japan, and Tama Tonga and Tama Tonga comes back. Open arms,
um
open arms.
uh Actually, I know for a fact that Tama Tonga is going to come back with open arms because he tweeted out today that there will always be a spot open for the Bullet Club for them.
Well, this is what I would do for a storyline. If you want to make the United States storyline, turn on them, destroy them, welcome them back with open arms, and then beat the fuck out of them. That's what I would do.
The OGs taking back. I mean, they could do it where the OGs take back. Like, you don't necessarily even have to turn on Tama Tonga and Tangaloa. You can turn on like the new Bullet Club members, like Jay White.
There's a storyline there that writes itself. And with New Japan, the way I know that they can do things, I can see them doing it.
And I know that Jay White actually, I think I shared this in the chat. Jay White actually sent an invitation for Fit Finlay to join the Bullet Club too.
I seen that. I think isn't that Dave Finlay's dad?
Yeah, David. Yeah. That's why I shared it because I'm like, this fucking thing.
Yeah, I seen it again. I think that he's one of those that got furloughed. I don't think he got fired.
I'm not sure because the way that he made it sound on Twitter was that he was done.
Well, okay, and that's fine. But he could have. I don't know. I just know that from what I have heard that the producers got furloughed. That's all I know.
I don't know. It's just like that under that thread where like he got invited to the Bullet Club and he was like interesting and then underneath there his son was like, "Bruh."
Yeah.
It's laughing.
It's pretty good.
Like,
but again, that story could write itself. EC3 got released. I seen that. They should have released him a long fucking time ago. They were never doing anything with him.
I agree with what Heather said on this one. Like, he had been asking for his release for a while. So I'm thinking that he had an agreement already because he put out a tweet that made it sound like he was already signed somewhere else.
Yep. Drake Maverick got released. Gina seen today, I'm not really a fan of Drake Maverick. He's okay. He's a better mic guy than he is a wrestler. Mm-hmm. Them releasing him doesn't bother me so much. Leo Rush, another guy, he had problems. He had issues. His attitude sucked at times. Them releasing him was inevitable, in my opinion. Aiden English, again, another guy they weren't doing anything with. I know he's a commentator, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, even as commentary, he wasn't great. Like he hasn't been properly utilized since the Rusev thing.
No, and even then. Heath Slater got released. Again, they haven't done anything with him. He's been there for 16 years. I get it, but then again, just because you've been there, and I said it on Twitter today, and these guys know because I said it. I said I don't think anybody is safe from this.
No. I am calling it now. Fucking Heath Slater's going to come back to the WWE and win a world championship because they did it to Jinder Mahal and they did it to Drew McIntyre. Heath Slater is the next one destined for it.
The problem is, Bobbit, Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal both were in their early 20s when they were let go, or in their mid 20s when they were let go the first time. Heath Slater is almost 40.
Yeah, he's not good.
I'm still calling it.
I love it personally because I love him.
He might come back, but I don't ever see him winning a world title.
Yeah, if he comes back, he'll be like a backstage agent or producer.
Yeah.
I see.
And he would be good at that. I mean, I could see, or a coach at Performance. I could see him doing a good job with those, but I don't think he'll ever be back like as a regular competitor.
Which sucks because he actually had a really good personality. Like it came off really well in the ring.
He was a good WWE guy. The next one is Eric Young. Again, they didn't do anything with him really. Vince doesn't. No. I didn't see the WWE in him ever.
See, Eric Young, I feel.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Babbitt. Go ahead.
I feel so bad for Eric Young because they had fucking goal with Sanity, and what happened? They absolutely destroyed it.
Well, Vince.
Bob, but they didn't win that many matches in NXT
No,
either.
they
They
were-
were just like they were kind of ran roughshod. They were a good
So
group, especially when they had Nikki Cross. But
yeah, but if you look at Heath Slater and Eric Young, they were nothing more than overpaid enhancement talent.
Yeah.
Do you
I mean,
see what I mean? They were
honestly,
never going to be any more than overpaid enhancement talent.
And Eric Young can go back. Eric Young can go back to Discovery Channel and host those shows whenever they want him. He's set for life. He's good, so we don't have to worry. Nobody has to worry about him.
No.
He's very good. It's just he got lost in the shuffle because he looks like everyone else.
He's old. He's like 40.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
you know, I was honestly surprised that they didn't release Eric Young back already when they did, when they released the other guy from Sanity.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I was really surprised.
Sawyer.
Yeah, when they released Sawyer, and honestly, they haven't hit NXT UK yet.
No, that they're saying that there might be a total of. They're saying the cuts might go into the hundreds. So it's not over yet. It's got to go through the weekend.
Yeah. Nobody's safe. Nobody's
No.
safe.
Yeah,
Not
there's
even-
one
not
man
even-
who's safe, and
not
that's Reigns.
Even Roman Reigns is safe. I mean, Roman Reigns is safe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Roman Reigns is safe.
Roman Reigns is not going anywhere. WWE releases him.
Oh, thank God.
No, they ain't good.
And for people, all these people all today, I heard about, they're like, release Goldberg. Like, Goldberg is done anyway. He only had 2 fights on the contract.
I got into this argument today. Somebody's like, well, they should release Goldberg. Goldberg's contract was done at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
They've already
He's
paid
gone.
him. They've already paid him his monies. He's done. We're done.
Yeah.
They just finding a reason to bitch. Billy Kidman, he's a producer. He got released. I mean, he's a good producer. He's one of the better
Yeah.
producers. Again, he got furloughed. Mike Rotunda, he got furloughed. Pat Buck, he's a producer. He got furloughed. Fit Finley got
I do want to
furloughed.
say a funny thing about Mike Rotunda, considering what day it is and what his character was in WWE. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I did see a tweet.
Rusev Day?
I did see a tweet.
IRS.
Aaron Shyster. IRS. So there was a tweet out today that says you can't release the tax man on tax day. Sean Davari got released today. Scott Armstrong, he was a referee for a while and then became a producer. He was a wrestler.
Yep.
Also,
He's
Road Dogg's brother.
Yep. Sarah Stock, she was the one that produced. I can't remember what Connor said. She was one of the producers. She was apparently a really talented producer. She must have produced some of the women.
Yeah.
This one I don't give a shit about, and there's a reason why. He's the guy's a complete douchebag, and that's Shane Helms. I
Yeah.
got into an argument with him on Twitter one day about politics.
And now JP's blocked.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. He can fucking block me. I said, go ahead and block me, you egg. I don't care.
He's probably blocked everyone anyway. He's turned into a prick.
I'm not blocked. He likes me.
I'm blocked.
He's a liberal.
Give him
cunt
time.
bag.
It might be blocked by guilty by association. I've seen that happen before.
He's a liberal cunt bag, is what he is. Lance Storm got released. He's
Sucks
pretty.
for Lance.
But he's like brand new. I mean,
He can.
Yeah, it really
start-
sucks for him.
Cool,
because
though.
I know he was really excited to
But
go
he
back.
did
to
put out a
WWE.
really good tweet today. He did
Mhm,
say
I seen that.
people are. Did you see it? People are saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna cancel my subscription. I'm gonna cancel. I'm never gonna watch WWE." Is why? There's still really good talent there. Why stop watching something because your favorite got released?
And not only
Exactly.
that,
Don't
but people are really dumb that are saying that because, okay, so you're mad that some of your favorites got released. So you're going to cancel your network and stop watching so ratings go down so that more talent can be released?
People are dumb. They don't understand how it works.
Right.
Kurt Angle got released. That one, I don't know. I mean, whatever. I didn't know he was even there still. So that one really didn't affect me. Mike Chioda, that one shocked me, but he hasn't been refereeing. He must have been a producer or something.
Yeah, we
Because-
just talked about that the other day. We were just wondering where he was too. So I guess he's producing, but he'll be, if they want him to come back, he'll come back. But he might just be happy sitting around for a while.
Sarah Logan got released today. Boo hoo.
I think she'll be back.
Poor
I don't think
Ronnie is probably out there screaming somewhere.
I do not think that Sarah Logan will be back because she
I
had really
just
nothing
because of
to.
her husband working there.
Let her
I think
finish.
that
Trey.
doesn't matter at all.
Let her finish. Go ahead, Gina.
I mean, I don't see Sarah Logan coming back, regardless of if her husband's there or not. I don't see them bringing her back just simply because she was not utilized, and even when she was utilized, she was not very good.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of those that needed to
did
stay
a
at
lot
the
of work.
Performance Center.
Yep.
She did not need
Sorry
to be
about
on
that.
NXT. She needed to be at the Performance Center and grow. She's only 25, 26?
Yeah, and I mean, now mind you, when I say that she's not coming back, I mean like initially as soon as they get back up on their feet and this stuff
Right.
is over.
Yeah.
And now that's not to say that in 5-10 years she may not come back because she needs work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she needs more in ring.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that, Gina.
It's all right.
No, what?
You were
It's
just
okay.
talking, and she was trying to make a point, and you would shut the fuck up. Eric Rowan got released. We seen that one coming from a mile away. He should have been released a long fucking time ago. He should have been released. He should have been released before fucking Brody Lee got released.
As soon as Spider got squashed, his career got squashed.
I seen somebody say that he needs to go to AEW with Brody Lee. No.
I don't want to see that.
No.
I don't want to see it. Well, then the only way that will work is if you have Bray Wyatt show up in AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I understand that nobody is safe, but if they let Bray Wyatt go, then...
You know what the first thing I said was? Release the Fiend.
Release the Fiend.
Yes.
I mean, whether you like him or not, he's one of their top merch sellers right now, and he's hot. So if they release him, then you know that they're in trouble. Or not in trouble, but you know what I mean.
He's not good. If they do release, like, Bray Wyatt or somebody like that, then you know that this is serious. Because they aren't just going to release top talent just to release them. There's a reason why they're releasing. Eric Rowan, like I said, Epico and Primo, I didn't know that they were still in the company. They must have been backstage.
I think the last time I heard anything about them was when they got it for the wellness policy a couple months back. Mm-hmm. But I think the only reason why WWE was still in association with them was because of the
Colognes.
Yeah, the Colon family with their little wrestling promotion that they have down in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike and Maria. Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis. They needed to go. I mean, Mike wanted to be released anyway, and they got paid a lot of money, and they weren't there half the time. But for Maria, justifiably so, she got pregnant. I mean, I get it.
Well,
I get it. I'm not shitting on her. Let's keep that in mind. I'm just saying, WWE, a lot of these people are going to be fine. Mm-hmm. These people,
Maria,
they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're getting something for leaving. They aren't just like, we're not going to pay you anymore. That's not how Vince works.
They have to obligate their contracts.
Yes, they will prorate their contract and they will give them severance. I'm sure that when this thing slows the fuck down, if they find a place for him, Vince will find a place for him if they have a place. I think Vince is also doing this for the future, and I think he realizes he has too much talent on his roster, and he needs to lighten the load. And I'm okay with that.
Maria put out a really, really good tweet earlier. Like she basically was just talking about how thankful she was to WWE and how the first time that she was released, that it really sucked, but all these good things ended up happening for her in her personal life. She met her husband and all of that stuff. And then she said the second time, basically it was just a really positive tweet. Like she said, we don't know what we're going to be doing, but we'll keep you guys updated. And we know that we'll be entertaining somebody somewhere.
Yeah. Mike Bennett can wrestle. I have seen him when he was in TNA. He was pretty good. Impact. He was pretty good. I could see him going back there.
Yep.
I could see her going back there because that's where her career really took off, was in Impact.
I could see him going back to ROH.
Yeah.
That too, they could.
Personally, I think that he would be best suited if he did like the public speeches at like high schools and stuff like that, because I know that he's been doing that on his downtime.
Mm-hmm.
And with him being a recovering addict and stuff, I think that would be the best place for him to be.
Yep. Nope, I get it. I totally understand. He actually put out a video on Twitter today. I didn't watch it or anything, but let's see. Zack Ryder got released today. What have they done with him in the last whatever?
Nothing really.
He's another one that's been there for 16 years. I get it, but just because, like I said, nobody's safe. Nobody was safe from this.
And Zack Ryder put out a tweet, and it was very, very positive, and he was just thankful, that he had the 14 years that he had, and he said that when he got the news, when he was on the phone literally being fired, he was looking at the picture of him and his dad at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So he said he was just incredibly thankful.
Of course. And just keep in mind, WWE didn't fire these people. They just released them of their contracts.
Yeah.
Firing is a little bit of a harsh word, I guess I'd be saying. But, I mean, it's more of a release. It's like, and I'm sure he didn't get on there and go, "You're fired." I'm pretty sure it was one of those, due to the circumstances, of some sort, we're going to have to release you of your contract. If things slow down, you never know. We might call you back, probably be at lesser money. Something along that. That's what I would have done if I was them. We're always going to have you in our minds. We thank you for your service. That's the way it should be done. Personally, I'm probably not a very tactful speaker when it comes to that, but whatever. No way Jose got released. Thank God no more Tonga lines.
And we didn't see him the whole thing.
No way.
What?
We didn't see him since the Eric Rowan thing. I mean, he'd been gone for a while.
He was there a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, he's always been in the background,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Last time I can remember him, though, was when he was asking what was in the cage, and Eric Rowan showed it, right? That was the last time I can remember him, though. But
Andrea Listenberger, she was the one that was the writer for the Otis and Mandy fucking storyline. She was the writer for that. I
found it funny because I'm like the one person that actually wrote a good segment.
Right. Well, they're probably going to use her ideas, which, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? This one didn't really surprise me because I've been calling for him to be fucking released a long time ago, and that's Rusev. Rusev got released. Hallelujah.
Okay. Can I just say 1 second? I cannot believe that they released Rusev and kept Lana.
They're not done yet. I can guarantee you.
No, I know that they're not done, but as of right now, they kept Lana. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, they didn't have anything for Rusev. And they weren't going to use Rusev, and I think that's where everybody thought the storyline was going. I knew it wasn't going there.
His contract's up anyway.
Yeah.
It does really suck because, like, Rusev was an incredible talent, and I think that when they first got him, they were using him properly, but somewhere along the line, it got fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blame it on John Cena like everybody else does.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. Like, that was when I enjoyed Rusev Day and all that stuff, but like, I liked Rusev, but when he was at his best was when he was battling John Cena.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I agree.
Well, and you had the Rusev Day thing, but then after a while, they just killed it. I mean, they let it die before it really drove itself into the ground, but still, after they got done with that, what were they going to do with them?
No, they purposely killed it because he had too much. What's the word? Yeah, there was too much momentum that they didn't create.
Didn't I say that's what they were going to do?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Just saying. Deanna Purrazzo got released, and I think there's a reason behind this one. I think she was not wanting to do the work to get better.
Right.
You could just see it because she was apparently really good in Ring of Honor. And then she got here, and it's like, well, I don't have to. From what I've heard some people say that she's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the work. I already did the work. I'm here. How come I'm not
It
being
seems like
utilized?
that.
She was what? She's one of those people. What's the people? What is the word? The phrase? Yeah, there you go. She was entitled to be there.
It seems
Yeah.
like that happens with a lot of talent. Like as soon as they get to WWE, they think, "Oh, well, I've made it to the top, and now I don't have to try anymore."
I think Impact's already working on getting her in there.
Yeah. Good luck.
Well, Madison Rain said she's pretty sure she could get her a spot.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Let me see. I haven't shouted out the chat.
Is that are Diona and Marty still together?
No, they broke up because she got mad
Oh,
'cause
okay.
they were chanting Marty's. They were chanting Marty at her, and she goes, "Well, he's not my boyfriend anymore." And then she said, "So like, if they kept doing that, she was gonna perform."
I'm gonna shout out people in the chat. Merge, been a long time, man. How you doing? And Aaron, usually in the chat. How's it going? That's all. And Sarah. Oh, Sarah's in here. She fell off. How's it going, guys?
What's up, guys?
Appreciate you being here. I just wanted to do this because I have wanted to blow off some steam. I'm sick and tired of fucking only getting 280 characters to say what I actually want to fucking say.
Yeah.
So, and then the last one that got released was Alexander Jackson. I've never seen this guy. I don't know who the fuck he is, and I really don't fucking care.
Okay, so I didn't know who he was at first either,
Mhm.
but I went on his Twitter and I started going down the page, and he was a new NXT talent that just hadn't quite made it like broke through yet.
Mhm.
But he's in a lot of backstage segments. Like, I want to say it was Johnny Gargano or somebody was fighting backstage, and he was one of the guys that they knocked over. Like he was a very, very new talent.
Yep, I get it, and hey, I just never seen the guy before. MJ Jenkins, who's MJ Jenkins? See, I don't even know who half these fucking
No
people
clue.
are. I don't even
He was
know. I
in
mean, I
NXT, I
know half
guess.
the people I read off, but I don't know who the fuck that is. And I really,
I think
that's why,
that
that's
he
why
might be another NXT
he
talent.
might be.
Maybe?
I know that there was more that you guys put in the chat, but it's like this is inevitable, and we're gonna get into it. And yes, it might get a little political because there is politics involved, but not as much as everybody thinks there is.
Mm,
I'm telling you, is that everybody thinks that's what's going on. Do we know for a fact? Give me facts and then I'll buy in.
there was a
Um,
bunch of facts in that article.
no. That's why would WWE just bluntly come out and say that we're going to give them $18.5 million and then do this? That's not the reason why they are
It
releasing
wasn't
people.
WWE that did it.
Every it was Linda McMahon.
Um well, yeah, Linda McMahon is in charge of that oh god, what's it called?
She was in charge of the
The
small business thing with Trump, but then she left.
No. He just put her in charge of something else. It's like some fur or something. But anyway, she's in charge of that. And the day that WWE was announced by Florida governor as an essential business is also the same day that Linda McMahon promised them $18.5 million to the state of Florida through that thing from Trump.
Right. But it didn't go through Trump. It went from the super PAC. Is that what you're talking about? That's to
Yes,
help
yes,
their
that's it.
economy. That can't. I don't even. I'd have to read the article, but the super PAC is nothing to do with WWE.
I understand that. It's just a lot of people are like raising eyebrows because
No, and I get
of the
it.
timing of it.
Right, and I understand that, but just because everybody's got to understand that Linda McMahon is in his cabinet.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah, she's not
Yeah.
anymore.
But it's the timing of it, and then it's also the circle because the McMahon's not, as you just said, when the McMahon is in his was in his cabinet,
Mhm.
and then also the McMahons when he was running for president, the McMahons were the top contributors to his campaign,
Mhm.
and the fact that they have a long-standing friendship and just the timing
I
of
get it.
the bill, like that
I-
bill or whatever it
I
is,
do.
promising. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were
Well,
done.
just the bill or whatever it was promising 18.5 million to Florida, and then literally a couple hours later, the Florida governor announcing that WWE was an essential business. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying it's kooky with the timing.
But that doesn't help. How does that help Florida? It don't. They got $18.5 million, but in the long run,
Well,
$18.5 million is a lot of fucking money to a state.
right, but then you also got to consider that they'll be making money off of WWE as well with them doing their live tapings and all such because they have to pay taxes and all that stuff on that.
She was a small business administrator, is what Linda was.
Yeah,
That's what
and
she
now
did.
she's in charge of that super PAC or whatever it's called.
Super PAC, and that has to do with Donald Trump. That doesn't
Yeah.
have that. That's for an election. That's not even for, and it helps Florida's economy. Let's keep that in mind. What Linda gave them is helping Florida's economy. And if we want to shit on fucking Vince McMahon for fucking helping an economy grow, well, I mean,
Yeah.
we have to think about that. He has where his people that he is bringing training has trainers training people to train to become WWE superstars. I would say it's a pretty smart move for him to do that. Does it have anything
No,
to do with the people being released today? No.
no. And
That $18.5 million did not come from Vince McMahon.
right.
Keep
And
that in mind.
as far as I'm concerned, like no eyebrows will be raised for me unless it comes to a point when like say like AEW or ROH or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to wrestle in Florida and then they're denied, that's when my eyebrow would be
Okay,
raised.
so and that would be stupid for them for the state of Florida to allow that to happen because, as you well know, my favorite saying is, "What is good for the goose is good for the gander." I even said it. If AEW went to and said, "Hey, if WWE is deemed essential, how come we're not? If we come to Florida,
Right.
will we be deemed essential?" I think there's a difference, though. I don't think that AEW has a facility that they can work out of.
Well,
They
the
have
thing
Bailey's
is,
place, but it doesn't belong to AEW.
well, and not only that, but they could do it out of the stadium, but I believe Ronnie said something about either Daly's place or the stadium. One of the two is like a coronavirus center
Right.
now. And then not only that, but was it the governor that granted WWE or was it the mayor of Orlando? Because I thought it was the mayor of Orlando.
Mayor of Orlando had a press conference and said that the governor of Florida deemed the WWE as being
Okay.
essential. Now,
Okay, because that was my
here,
question. Because like if it was the mayor saying, okay, well, you can wrestle here or whatever because we consider you essential in this town, and not the governor, then I would be like, okay, I can see why AEW wouldn't be able to do it. But since it was the governor as well, I don't know. I
right.
guess if they find a place, then
Well, we can sit here and say that WWE this and WWE that, but other sports are getting ready. They're talking about opening back up.
yeah,
It's not just WWE that's doing this.
I
Major League
know. And
Baseball's doing it. Freaking NBA. Well, the NBA season's pretty much over.
yeah,
Um,
well, they
the,
can't. They called NBA season already, didn't they?
No, it's just
they may have. They suspended it, but I think it's getting to the point where the playoffs. Well, that's on the NBA.
Yeah.
Playoffs start like I think they start this month sometime. But anyway,
Okay.
I want to say this. and I think I said it at the beginning. In fact, I know I said it at the beginning. This is my question, and I have not gotten an answer except for, well, I'm about people's health. I understand that. I get that. Why do this is don't think about this as the coronavirus, okay? That's not what I'm trying to get at. Even if this wasn't a coronavirus and WWE put something out there that said, "Hey, we're applying to be an essential business." Period. If that makes sense. Hear me out. Why do you fucking care if WWE becomes an essential business? Do
I
you
think,
understand my question?
yeah, I think that it's hard to answer that question without the coronavirus being involved because a lot of it is surrounded around the coronavirus itself because a lot of these people that are pissed off are working for these small businesses or like these medium-sized
Okay,
businesses that had no choice but to close.
so here's the thing.
And
Here's the thing.
yeah,
Does
sorry, go ahead.
WWE provide a service?
They do.
Okay. Does AEW provide a service?
They do.
They provide an entertainment service. Now, here's the thing. People are like, well, the actors and actresses in Hollywood aren't doing anything. That's on them. They chose not to do that. It's up to the business to decide, or up to the whoever to decide not to do anything. Vince,
Yeah.
I don't fault Vince for wanting to protect his assets as best as he possibly can.
But in the same sense, this is my question to you. If, like, I understand what you're saying. But my question is, if all of these small businesses and such can't reopen because of the coronavirus outbreak, then how is it fair to these small and medium-sized businesses that WWE and AEW and all of these other sports brands are able to keep going when
Mhm.
they can't?
But so what my point is everybody's sitting here saying how can they be if they follow the guidelines and 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 stay strict on those guidelines, I think that they will be fine. What those guidelines are, whatever the CDC or whatever Florida does, their guidelines, I'm pretty sure the WWE is going to follow them. Because if the first time they don't, they're under scrutiny right now. So I'm
And I
pretty
can
sure.
almost guarantee there's going to be state officials there.
Of course. So WWE is going to follow the very strict guidelines as to why. And yes, and it's not like there's 45,000 people in the fucking arena getting everybody contagious. It's two people.
And
And I'm sure that
and
these
that's
people get tested. Since it's an essential business, they are getting tested to make sure that they don't have this.
and I think that you kind of answered the question that just asked before, because if I was to answer that question myself, it would be there's a huge difference between WWE, AEW, blah blah blah,
I don't
versus
think there
those
is a
small.
difference.
Well, hold on, there is a difference because not between AEW and WWE. Don't get me wrong, but
Okay.
I'm saying between those companies like that and your small businesses and your medium-sized businesses, because WWE and AEW, etc., are able to follow those guidelines. Whereas, let's say a small factory opens up, you're not going to be able to follow those guidelines because everything is close together. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but depending on what the business is. And
Yeah, depending on what the business is, of course.
if it's building car parts, you're damn right it's fucking essential business because they have to make car parts just to you know what I mean. What if the car
Well,
breaks
and
down?
I don't know about by any of you guys, but here, unless you work for an actual dealership,
Hmm.
all auto mechanic places except for Walmart and the auto dealerships, they're closed. So if your car
Not
needs to be repaired, you're fucked.
not here. I know for not here they're not, and we have a stay at home.
Hmm.
I actually am calling sometime this week to get my car fixed. They're still taking appointments, but it's appointments. You got to call in, and they'll make sure that there's not that many people in the place at that one time.
Okay, I see. Yeah, because like Right.
And that's in New York. So,
Yeah.
but
The like
so
fucking
Virgin, I
mother
want to answer
load
your
of
question. And
coronavirus.
you guys in the chat, and I know there's basement. You guys, if you have a question, don't be afraid to ask it. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. I'll try not to sound like an asshole, but it'll probably come off as me being an asshole. But I do want to answer that person that tested positive. He or she did not come in contact with anybody. They immediately sent her home and put them in quarantine. That's the end of that. That's only the one person that has apparently tested positive. I haven't heard any others that have tested positive. Roman Reigns did not test positive. He just put himself in quarantine because of his leukemia.
And his family.
Yeah. So what's up, basement? How's it going?
Hey,
What's up,
basement.
baby boo?
Not much, man. Just
Finally, the Sex Bear's here.
trying to, I'm sick and tired of 280 charactering trying to explain myself. So I thought, fuck it, I'm going live tonight.
So Why Society sent me a DM, and I'm trying to decipher this, but I'm going to read it to you guys and see if you guys can decipher this.
He DM me too. I'll try to decipher it, but go ahead.
My brain is not wired correctly tonight, but it says, I believe Sean Ross Sapp said this afternoon that he reached out to the Florida governor for a statement on WWE still running shows. And supposedly at that time, which was supposedly about a week ago, he said in a way was it essential? Which is weird. Why, if this is
I guess in what way was it essential?
Saying the opposite, further making the stuff you said involving Trump look very likely. I believe he reached out to him like a week or so ago.
Well, the Florida governor opened up. I guess he's opening up theme parks and shit too.
That is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, see that like I don't know. Like personally, I don't agree with the state being able to make that ruling.
Yeah, but
that's the way our government
that Donald
works.
Trump wants everything reopened.
That's the way our government works.
Like I mean, to a point, obviously, I think going to like complete economic destruction is not a smart idea. But again, like there's certain ways to go about things, and certain things have to stay closed for the time being.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I did read that in an article that they are getting ready to open theme parks and such.
But who's gonna go? Like the thing is, anything you ride has to be wiped down to like a crazy amount.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying that's what I heard. But go ahead, Gina.
Sorry. So Why Society clarified. Thank you for that. He said basically the governor told him a week ago when he contacted him that WWE was not essential. This was before everything came out on Friday. He brought this up during his live stream earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So
I feel like it like in some ways I feel like it's just there should be in no way should a transfer of money really dictate what stays open and what stays closed. Then I think that's where I think a lot of people are kind of like irked with the WWE thing.
The WWE did not give them $18.5 million.
I don't know what exactly happened, but it just seems very odd that
it does seem
to
odd,
go from
this
non-essential to essential, and like there's no fucking human being alive that's going to say wrestling is essential.
I mean, nobody thinks about this. Even WWE just found a loophole and said, "Hey, we're deemed essential."
There's a bunch of places that have tried to do it everywhere, but like at the same time, someone eventually is going to look at that and be like, "This is fucking ridiculous." And since it's made like main media coverage, you'd think that would have already had happened. But
and this is what I was saying earlier about like just the timing of it makes it look very suspicious, And I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying the timing alone is bad.
It's just
I guess it just like signals to elitism, and that's I think what a lot of people are pissed off about.
Roman Reigns said why he wasn't going to be there. They did. They showed the whole promo that he did. I'm confused.
I don't remember them showing anything, but I'm pretty sure. Like, do I need them to show anything? It's kind of self-explanatory.
WWE.
They did on Twitter, and they also did on Facebook. So, like most of their social media platforms, they shared the interview.
They also made mention of it on WWE.
I mean, in his case, I 100% agree with him staying home.
Yep.
It's just there's no like, what the fucking guy's rich as shit. Like, what is the point of going out there to risk having like going out and fucking wrestling in these shit ass matches in a arena filled with nobody, risking your life for no reason?
I mean,
and there's like, even if it's like a 1% chance this guy gets sick, that's still too much.
I get it, but my whole question is, and it's not. Me personally, and I keep saying this, and people are. I'm with Basement. I think they should have gone away on a hiatus and just wrestling go away, because wrestling, all of it, fucking sucks right now. Tonight was okay, but I wouldn't say it was great. It all of it sucks so bad. Everything is all the same, and with nobody in the crowd, it just kills wrestling. The wrestlers need fans in the fucking stands to what's the word I'm looking for?
In order for anything to mean anything, you need fan reaction in wrestling.
You do, and the wrestlers feed off of that. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, I mean, it's really bottom level storytelling.
It is,
and it only really works with fans going ooh and ah at the moments they should ooh and ah. Otherwise, it's like really fucking terrible.
It is.
It's like worse than a soap opera at times, man.
But
the Moxley match tonight was a prime example for that.
It was.
I can't, man. I can't do it.
No, I'm with you. I barely watched it myself. I was on Twitter. But
now, did the governor or fucking whoever said that the WWE is deemed as essential because it's a cornerstone in the fucking Florida's economy? Was that the reason? Because nobody's going to these fucking shows.
I don't think that's why.
Not drawing anybody in.
That's why. I can't remember. I'd have to look at. They put out the reasons why they're deemed essential, and what businesses are deemed essential. And I can't remember who put it out there. It's out there as to why they're deemed essential, but I can't remember what it was.
I don't think there's an actual reason that anybody can say that makes sense.
No, and I agree. But my question is, and I'm not defending it, why do people care so much that they hate WWE for becoming an essential
Well, I guess
business?
WWE is always like that anything that goes wrong, there's the finger point at WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because it's just, I mean, people look at it as like a certain way a business is practicing business.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if I run a fucking hair salon and I'm forced to close and my business goes under, then you look at the government and say, why did I have to close while you have two men sweaty wrestling each other in an arena filled with nobody? How are you picking who closes and who doesn't? Like if I had $1 million, I'd probably stay open.
But I'm not arguing. I'm just arguing as why people care. And I'm not talking about people that own businesses. They're the ones that should care.
I think it's just the way it looks.
Why do people like
WWE has already had pretty bad press in general. And
I think that's a lot to do with it. I think that's a lot to do with it. Like WWE has already kind of gotten away with so much in the past as far as like being able to claim certain tax credits or
they've skirted
whatever,
the
blah,
lines
blah, blah.
With everything.
Yeah, they
skirted
the lines
with the wrestlers' health. They skirted the lines with law, and they're always right because they are working within the legal system, and they can't be found wrong for that. But there is always going to be that thought in the back of your mind, that moral thought being like, "What the fuck are these guys doing?"
And I think that has a lot to do with why people are so angry with them. And then on top of that, I don't know about you guys, but I oh my God, I supported Trump through all of this, except for when I heard this, because as soon as he said, I'm sick and tired of watching 14-year-old baseball games, we need to get sports back on. Yeah, because that's what we need to worry about right now. We have people dying, but God forbid our president has to go without sports.
He's gone a bit too far with the popular vote that he has.
He has no authority
over that.
Over
But still.
he can make a
I
suggestion.
understand. It was just the statement in itself. Like, this is the stuff that he says
and this
that
is the
just
problem
makes
that
him
people,
sound so
I get
aggravating.
it. I get it. This
Well,
is the
he's
problem.
pandering to the fan base that's going to support him come election time. It's unfortunate because it kind of segregates the other fan base completely, or the other base of population completely. But that's the way the political world is now.
Part of his fan base. I was part of his fan base, but like the way he's been acting so incredibly childish
But
throughout this
you
entire
look at it- look at it,
coronavirus thing
the
that it just makes
economy-
me.
But Gina, you've got to think about this. The economy is at a complete stalemate right now.
No, I get that.
And that's
I
like
get
the
that.
only fucking.
I
That was his
understand
fucking
where
basis
he's
for
coming
being
from.
president.
Yes, and now it's
I
being fucking
understand where-
ruined. It's being ruined because of a virus. And I'm just gonna come out and fucking say it. It's a fear mongering fucking virus. People are so scared. I have been out and about. I was out and about for a month before this. All of a sudden, everybody had to stay home. This thing's been around for 2 fucking months. I've been out and about, walking around. I have come in contact with people. I'm not sick. Just
The thing is, it's very dangerous for the elderly,
Yes.
specifically the elderly. And I like we deal with homeless people at work, and they're all fucked because they're all in
Yeah.
poor health anyway.
Yes.
But like
Anybody
it's
that's
that
in
type
poor
of
health.
population that needs to
But
worry.
the thing
But the thing is, you can't not worry about because you might be in contact with them at some point in time, and you can carry it and not even know.
My
But the thing is,
Go
people are like, well, I didn't get sick. I haven't gotten sick. I've been out all this, blah, blah, blah. And JP, I'm not pointing fingers at you because I know you just said that. But the problem is, it's
can't
not,
look at it
if
that way,
you're
that's
going to
the-
get sick, it's who you're going to give it to.
No,
I'm gonna tell you right
I
now,
get
it
that.
was handled piss poor. It got out of control in the media before it was even fucking anywhere close to control in the government. And because the numbers are piling up, because it spreads to old folks' home, they're all fucking dead, right? Or like a certain amount of them die, and like everything is like too reactive. But look at anything else in our society. What else is not super reactive?
Right.
So, someone says gay on air, and all of a sudden they're the fucking worst human being alive. It's like,
Well, look what's going on
it's
with
just. I'm sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Trek.
look what's going on with Lawler because he made that crack on Monday night about
That's another
the
thing I wanted to fucking talk
strong
about too.
moonsault.
Yeah, but I mean, like as far as with President Trump, don't get me wrong, I understand why he wants things to get going again.
Yes.
I understand completely. But in the same sense, you cannot force these places, because I know he said that he's going to try to force governors to fucking become compliant with reopening. He can't do that, first of all.
He worded it wrong. He can make suggestions, and that's it. That's
Right.
all
I
he
think
can
that's
do.
the big problem
but
with
that's
Trump in
the thing.
general.
He
That's
speaks
the
his
thing with him.
mind.
He does not think before he speaks.
That is his problem, and I totally
Yes.
understand it. He speaks his mind, and he says what comes out of his mouth.
And a lot
But
of the
he
times it
doesn't.
comes off
When
sounding
he
incredibly
says,
childish.
when he says, "I'm going to force these governors," really, what he's saying, if you stop fucking reading into everything the guy fucking says, what he really means is, I'm going to try to suggest to these governors that. And if he does mean force, then he's a fucking idiot because he can't
The
force
problem
anybody
is-
to do anything.
Huge difference between
problem is-
suggest and force.
You also don't want a leader where you have to literally decipher what he's saying
Mhm.
to
No,
understand
I'm
what
with
he's
you.
saying. Like
A lot of the things that
Trump is not. There was nobody else available. They were all shit. They're all shit. They've almost
either
always
Trump or
been shit. Because if you don't end up with someone like Trump, you end up with the opposite. Someone that says all these nice things but does none of them.
Yes.
Like, where's the in
it's just-
between? Where's the?
There is none.
I
Oh,
think
man.
that our president just needs somebody to speak for him, because a lot of
Well,
the
then he
things
can't be
that he's
president.
Then he
trying-
can't be president.
a lot of things that he's trying
Break his
to
voice
say
box.
makes
He's
sense,
speaking sign
but the way that
language
he
right
says
now.
them makes him sound incredibly childish and incredibly
Yeah.
for lack of better words, incredibly stupid, when we all know that that Trump is not stupid. He's one of the fucking smartest businessmen alive today.
Well,
But
but
he
the thing is,
comes
he's like such a hardcore. Like, I wouldn't want Vince McMahon to be president, and Trump reminds me of him a lot. Everything they do is within the legal boundaries of doing something, but it's so amoral at times
Yeah.
and potentially questionable.
I-
Where, like, morality, I want a leader that's moral, but good fucking luck, because there's no such thing
And
in politics.
Yes, exactly. And I think that as far as like for the economy, he was fucking fantastic. Like President Trump is fantastic. He had the economy going, but he doesn't quite know what to do in situations like this
Well, I
where
don't think
he's
anybody
not.
knows quite what to do in
Well,
situations like this.
I know, but what
The
I'm saying
situation
is
is
like it's
so
like he
weird
falls apart.
because it's fucking all over. Like, you don't. The thing is, the American population and Canadian, all populations that I fucking consider, don't know what to believe anymore. You're lied to by the news. You're lied to by the government. Everything you hear, you don't know if it's true or a lie. So when people actually are asked to do something, they don't do fucking shit. And then you have beaches stay open. You have people fucking orgying on the beach in the middle of the fucking pandemic.
Right?
But like, nobody, you have no idea what to trust. So I don't know if it's as bad as they say it is, and I'm pretty sure it isn't, because the media has blown everything else out of proportion. But then again, like, where do you know the answer? Because everything is a fucking lie.
But I get it. I'm not sitting here defending WWE like everybody thinks I am. I want them to not wrestle because, like you said before, them not having fans in the seat just sucks. It makes the shows worse. It's not adding anything. The first couple of weeks it was okay, then it needed to stop. WrestleMania, fucking ass basement, it to the hilt. Basement's
Do you
not even
think they're
watching wrestling right now because of it.
Do you think they're scared of, if they go away for a couple months, they won't have the same following coming back?
Could very well be. That could very well be.
Which is a load of bullshit because you see like New Japan right now, and people are literally fiending for New Japan to come back.
Yes, but if WWE dies, if WWE goes under and they stop wrestling completely, wrestling will die because you will not see it on TV anymore, which means you won't see wrestling. You might see wrestling on at 3 a.m. or you're going to have to watch it on YouTube.
It won't die. It'll turn into like NASCAR, where there's a couple states that watch it like crazy, and then here in Canada, you don't ever see it.
Yeah, it is, and that's exactly what wrestling will become if WWE dies. So for everybody sitting there saying, well, WWE should go out of business, okay, wait to see what happens when WWE goes out of business. AEW
Well, I mean, the numbers that AEW
can't
is
live
getting,
without WWE. Huh?
the numbers AEW is getting would probably be very similar. They might spike a little bit at the beginning, but I think that those are the realistic numbers wrestling would get nowadays, between 600 and 1 million viewers. That is what I like. These 2.53s that Raw and SmackDown get only get them because they're Raw and SmackDown.
And it's third most. Raw was the third most watched show on our number one in television.
The thing is, there's nothing else on, and wrestling isn't fucking blowing it out of the park.
And they're in the perfect time slot.
Which to me is, I mean, the thing is, wrestling also depends on the audience, so it's hard. They're gonna lose viewership, but like to have nothing else to do and nothing else on and still not want to be watched is not a good look.
Bad thing. That's why I said wrestling is a dying breed. Because
I'd like it to go away, because I feel like even at least the people that watch it, like, absence would make the heart grow fonder. But what I'm seeing, or what I've seen with the empty arenas, it's turning people that are fucking hardcore fans away, man.
It is. I barely watched any shows tonight, to be honest with you. I had it on in the background. We sat here and played with Wendy most of the night. Didn't do anything, really. I was on Twitter talking to people. But it is what it is. And I just don't want people to think, and everybody seems to think that I'm defending WWE. I'm not defending WWE. I don't think WWE should be I don't even think AEW should be going right now. And I know they're not because they recorded some shows. And I think that's another reason why WWE is doing what they're doing is they're trying to strong arm and show, hey, AEW, hey, we can do this. Try it. I dare you. And
I
that could be a
I
thing that they're
don't.
trying to do, but I don't know. I don't know what WWE's reasoning behind trying to becoming essential means.
I see the
think-
bad press and the product that they're delivering. Those two just don't add up to me.
Well,
I
I've
don't
read
get it,
several. I have read
that's me.
several articles from like pretty reliable sources like Forbes, fucking I don't remember the other ones, but they were pretty reliable sources, and most of them are saying that the driving force behind WWE wanting to do live again is those contracts with Fox and USA.
But I don't get that because how is every other sport allowed to just take it off?
Because they can afford.
they're
I
bigger.
think
Yeah.
it's. I think
Are the contracts just put on hold? I'm assuming.
Well, I think that football, they can go without doing contracts for a year. They've made so much
Yeah.
fucking money off of fucking ESPN and Fox and
And-
NBC and ABC and CBS. They
Yeah.
they generate revenue off of hand over fist.
And not only that, but with JP, but with WWE itself didn't lose money with XFL, but Vince McMahon did.
Mhm.
So whether we could argue that or not, but that's going to factor into how he manages WWE because his personal funds have been affected by the loss of XFL. So losing any kind of money towards those contracts would be detrimental to him.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like the perfect storm for WWE financially.
Yeah,
Heather?
he actually took a cut in salary. All of them are taking cuts. They're not getting
Yeah.
bonuses. None of them.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, that's exactly what
Okay.
Heather said.
Okay.
But yeah, with like XFL having to close shop because of COVID-19 and WWE obviously being infected by it. I don't know if you guys talked about the releases of people yet or not.
Yeah.
We did at the beginning. We can. I don't know if you know all the names that got released, Basement. We can go back.
I do
Also
know.
supposedly.
Okay, well, fuck, who cares?
Basement, I
do-
know how much you've loved him.
I do know like all of the
Rich
names. The
thing?
thing is, like, I have a fucking bone to pick with people because, like,
Go ahead.
WWE is people all like, yeah, they're looking at like fucking, whoa, is it really like money relief? Because they're not really relieving that much by letting go the people that they're letting go.
No, but they're not
I
done
do
releasing.
feel
They're not done releasing
Sorry?
people. They're not done releasing people yet either.
I do feel like pretty much 90% of that list should have already been released.
Oh yeah. Well, here I'll go down the list. I'll read the names off. There's only 32 of them so far that I've got. Kurt Hawkins,
Should have been released. Should have never been signed.
Carl Anderson, and Luke Gallows.
They were kept around for what? To be fucking AJ Styles goons? I actually think keeping them around hurts AJ Styles more than it helps him.
Yep. EC3.
Hey, was the guy even hired?
The thing is, though, Basement, he put out a video today that made it sound as if he already has been hired by another company.
I mean, the guy won't be. He'll never really hurt for work in the wrestling industry. In my honest opinion, as soon as everything gets back up and running, he'll be on somewhere. Not in WWE, but somewhere.
Well, I think he might already be signed because it's like Heather said earlier, like he's been requesting his release for a while now.
Yeah.
So that could be.
He probably has the contract saying once we're back in business, you'll be working for us. This is what we're offering when we're back running. I can see him agreeing to that, but I don't think anybody's actually putting money to a name right now.
All right. Here's Drake Maverick. He got released.
That's a guy I think would have had a decently long run in WWE as just as personality.
Yep. I'm thinking.
I think he's going to be back in
He'll be
WWE.
back.
To
He
be
would have
honest,
been.
Yeah.
He would have made an amazing manager for the
Yeah.
right team.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah. Or if they bring back the GMs, I can see him being that.
Leo Rush got released today.
Yeah,
He'll have no problem finding work
No,
somewhere else.
I can see him going.
He might actually just be back in WWE.
He
he'll
might.
probably just go ROH.
That too. Aiden English.
Yeah.
Heath
Well, he was
Slater.
doing things behind the scene.
Heath Slater. Eric
Oh,
Young.
okay. Let's look at Heath Slater. Like this guy, man. You talk about someone that's been around for forever that really never did anything. He had a couple okay runs, but
Yeah.
fucking the last 3 years, 2 years, what has he really done?
Nothing. Eric Young.
They gave up on him as soon as he made the main roster.
Great. All right. So here's the producers. And I don't know if Sean Davari is a producer. I think he's just a
Yeah.
touring talent. Okay. So here's the producers. Now they got furloughed. They did not get released. Billy Kidman, Mike Rotunda, Pat Buck. Now Fit Finley. Somebody said that Fit Finley did get released.
The way he made it sound on Twitter was that he did because of that Jay White
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
tweet, and then he's like, well, Jay White basement. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but Jay White tweeted out that he could find a spot for Fit Finley in the Bullet Club, and Fit Finley replied with interesting. Well, then his son David, who, as we all know, is NJPW talent, is like, bruh, like what the
Right.
fuck?
Right. Sean Davari got released. Scott Armstrong, Sarah Stock, Shane Helms, fuck him. I don't care about that guy. And Lance Storm, Kurt Angle, Mike Chioda, all got released. Those are all producers.
It's weird to release a referee.
Well, he's a producer. No,
Does he not still
think
ref?
so because we asked this question the other day.
Where the fuck is he?
Where in the fuck is he? I haven't seen him ref a match in a long time. And I
Well,
think
now we
that
know
was
where he
at
is.
WrestleMania.
At home.
Yeah. Well, now he's at home. He's fucking movie light or whatever.
But look at like the total amount of money they're really saving. I'm going to say a
$4 million.
lot of these people, that's not a lot in the grand scheme of what goes on in WWE. So I'm like, a lot of these people were on the chopping block anyway, and just because business as usual, we're going to keep them so that they don't go somewhere else.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of the like, I don't get Leo Rush, and that just shows that they don't really give a shit about the small guys, like really small guys, Leo Rush and Maverick.
This proves that, like, what we've all been saying for a long time, WWE was hoarding talent. I think that this.
I don't know. I've never really.
But the thing is, it's weird. A lot of the talent that they're releasing aren't like guys that are gonna blow it away in the indies. Heath Slater, for fuck's sakes, man.
Right.
Like half these guys are just like generic.
I wouldn't say.
Yeah. Well, and they're apparently they're not done yet. Basement.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, there's. I know some of them will come back regardless.
Yeah.
But I also feel like for some of them, though, they're like, oh, it's the saddest day ever. It's like you kind of wanted to leave. So what the fuck are you really talking about?
And
All right. So let me get through the list.
Yep.
Sarah Logan. Your favorite.
Ronnie.
Eric Rowan.
You know what? That for me is a good thing.
Epico and Primo. Mike and Maria Kanellis.
Late.
Zach Ryder. No Way Jose.
Zack Ryder is one that it kind of hurts me because he's like given a lot to that fucking business, man.
No,
Him and Heath Slater are like that, but they're like, but those are guys that I'd be like, if they don't come back to WWE, where the fuck they're gonna go?
You know.
Yeah.
No Way Jose.
Yeah.
Andrea Listenberger. She was the writer for the Mandy Rose and Otis storyline.
Yeah, well, she might have went to Harvard to learn how to write that one. Like, that segment wrote itself for the most part.
Everybody seemed to love her. She was getting a lot of love.
Well, everybody liked the storyline, but I mean, it was. Well, I think the storyline was more about the people performing it than the storyline itself. But still,
that's what everybody was saying, though. Like the one fucking writer that actually wrote a good storyline is Dean Forley.
Now this one, Rusev. Got released today.
This was like a long time coming.
Yep, and I was gonna say that. I think Lana's gonna be next.
I'm okay with Rusev leaving WWE. The thing is, I liked Rusev.
Yeah.
But I kind of saw his limitations, especially in ring.
Yeah.
I think he can really get over as a personality on the mic because he's fucking funny.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But his in ring is just very black and white. Like
when he was like when he was more of the barbarian that was fighting John Cena, that was when he was probably at his best in ring.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he goes somewhere else and they give him like the ability to flourish, especially as a character, he'll probably have a decent run again somewhere else.
Deanna Purrazzo and Alexander Jaksic.
I don't know who that last guy is,
I don't know who
but
that guy is.
Deanna Purrazzo.
Deanna
Yeah.
Purrazzo, I think there's been problems with her, though. That's part of the reason why she.
Now, like, okay, so I guess the argument that, or the point I'm trying to make is a lot of these people were probably on the chopping block anyway. And if WWE had ever financial crisis, regardless if it's a pandemic or something else, they're going to go. And then I look on Twitter, and it's the saddest day in wrestling history ever. I'm like, what the fuck? Why don't you? Okay, every time people are released, people are sad because they don't get. But did you want to see fucking Heath Slater versus Curtis Axel main event WrestleMania? And the fucking people are like, you could have just dropped Brock Lesnar and kept all these guys.
I think,
Why?
I thought
made that point.
Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas both got released. I heard that somewhere today too.
I know Curtis
And-
Axel.
Yeah, and I also heard rumors of Chelsea Green,
Chelsea
Ember
Green.
Moon.
Ember Moon.
Now Chelsea Green is someone I wouldn't release because I actually think she's pretty.
I'm
She
telling
has
you
a high
right now.
upside.
I'm telling you right now, if Chelsea Green gets released, she will go to AEW because they wanted her when they
Well, she-
first started. They wanted her
Rabbit.
badly, but she had just signed with WWE.
But like, I mean, there's a couple on there that are like, obviously, I don't think WWE wanted to release them, but here we are.
Yeah, like I said, Kona Reeves.
Kona
Well-
Reeves got
Kona Reeves he has not been. It hasn't been solidified
good,
by
because
anything
it's been
yet,
shit.
but he
Every
put
time I've
like a
seen him.
broken heart as his fucking
Maybe he's just
Twitter
sad that
status.
his friends are leaving. The fact that
That's
Kona
the
Reeves
thing.
stays and Leo Rush leaves is kind of weird to me because
It
Kona
is.
Reeves is a pile of fucking stinking garbage.
Yeah,
Kona Reeves
see,
is
I'm
right.
wondering if. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Gina.
I was just gonna say, I wonder if he's gonna be the next on the chopping block, or if it's like Basement said, where it's just kind of he's brokenhearted that his friends are leaving.
Now, WWE has needed to clean house for a while.
They have.
hmm
I mean, this was a long time coming. I think this is just like, a bit of a bit of fuel for the fire for them
Yeah.
making the decisions a bit quicker.
And yeah, and that's what I was trying to get at before. Like everybody was saying that like WWE has kind of like hoarded talent, so to speak. So like, what do you expect them to do? I mean, these guys are we've been bitching for how long that these guys are sitting backstage not being utilized.
And like, I don't want anybody people. It's sad when somebody loses their job, but to fucking literally be kumbayaing on fucking Twitter, like some sort of apocalypse has destroyed these people. Like people are acting like these people are dead and you'll never see them again.
I know it is.
I stand kind of two ways on this. Like I can definitely see what Basement is saying, and let's get real. These people were making thousands of dollars. So yes, they were let go. They lost their jobs during a troubling time. But a lot of people lost their jobs during a troubled time, and a lot of people are only getting $1,200 one-time payment in order to make up for them losing their job for months on end. So these guys and girls are sitting a lot better than most of America is right now.
I don't get it because it's like not only are they financially in a superior position to pretty much everybody talking about them on Twitter, but they're obviously going to probably find a place to work after the whole fucking thing goes by. Not somebody that stocks shelves. It's not going to be so easy after a while or something along those lines. But fucking the one thing I really don't get is why it's like the bleeding hearts that come out for wrestlers that they never wanted to see to begin with.
No,
Yeah.
I want
It's
to
like,
make
and
this.
nobody was fucking crying that Heath Slater wasn't wrestling at WrestleMania or
Slater.
something.
Here, I want to say this because I'm really getting annoyed with this term, hoarding talent. Listen,
But you said-
WWE they threw a contract in front of these people and they signed it. Stop putting the onus on WWE. If they're going to sign the contract, that's on that talent for signing that contract. There's no guarantee that they're going to be fucking doing anything that day.
Okay, so the
I
one thing that
hate
people don't
that
realize
term.
the one thing people don't realize, like that will say hoarding talent, and I say at times, yes, they keep people on payroll even though they should let them go.
Yes.
But
That's
there
what
are
that's what I mean by saying hoarding
I
talent.
get that.
there's a lot of that talent.
Because it sounds like they're holding them hostage.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that talent that they use that we never see. Because they have a bunch of live shows, they have a bunch of fucking media things, signings.
Yep.
They have to kind of fluff out the roster with people that just lose,
Mm-hmm.
yet still are respectable enough and represent the brand properly.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be all fucking Roman Reigns and stuff like that.
Right.
But like in the end, I still think even with that mindset, WWE had a couple fucking loose ends that they just kept around.
Yeah.
And it's usually the people that request their release because they realize they might have some value somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like a Luke Harper, that things like that where it takes longer than it should to go through the due process of saying goodbye. And I know, like, if I sign a fucking 5-year contract, this is fucking same thing as marriage. I signed a contract for life with my wife to get married, but in 1 year, it's like, fuck this bitch. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Well, it's like that's what
You know,
That's not
revival,
your future endeavors, motherfucker.
What, Chuck?
Go
Well,
ahead.
it's like with the revival. It was a week or two ago that the revival were bitching more because like, oh, we're not getting paid by WWE anymore. We're not getting paid. You let the contract lapse. That's why you're not getting paid anymore. And then
Okay, first, hold up. Revival
Calm
wanted
down.
to leave.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did want
Oh no,
to.
I know. But then they let their contracts lapse. They're like, well, we don't understand why they're not paying us anymore because your contract's expired, and you said no. So they're complaining about. They're like, well, it's not fair. We're not getting paid to everybody else's. I'm like, you had the option,
That's
just like everybody
that's
else.
on the
Fine.
revival. The revival
Now, if
doesn't-
Revival was still hired, they'd probably be released in this fucking
Yeah.
Wait,
thing
They would be,
anyway.
they would have been.
because-
They
yeah.
would have been.
But the other side of this whole thing that I do see, like Basement, which you were talking about before with the people pining for the wrestlers, I did see a lot of people that were saying, oh, well, like just talking really bad about wrestlers that weren't released. Like, well, why isn't this douchebag released? And that's kind of where I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, because
It's
these
complete
people
bullshit.
did.
I'm
I
so
understand
over
that they're better. They're better off than what we are, but they still lost their jobs. And wishing somebody to lose their job just because you don't like their wrestling personality is really fucked up.
Well,
But
Eric
we're in the
Rowan,
middle of a
he-
fucking pandemic, and you have half these fucking cuntbags on Twitter being like, "Oh, this is the worst day. I might have to take some time away from Twitter because I'm
Oh,
really going through
please
things right
do.
now because the fucking."
I'm
Leo
so
Rush is
sad.
not going to be on NXT. I saw him wrestle like 3 times, and I didn't really care. But oh my god, like
It's a
fucking
sad
eat your
day in
own
wrestling.
fucking
It's
taint,
not that
bleeding
sad.
heart cunt. Like I can't stand these people. It's like I would never want to see you at a funeral because all you do is fall on the ground,
Right.
fucking throw you in the fucking hole with the dead person.
So,
Well, it's like
so yeah. Go ahead, Trek.
because people all day I remember like, well, like Gene said, well, why wasn't this one fired? This one's trash. They like,
Oh my God.
look, it's not over for that. It's not over, and they're saying it could go into the hundreds. Not just talent, including office staff and everything like that. But
It's
just-
typical
it's
wrestling
just a matter-
fans.
For me,
Typical
it's just a
wrestling fans.
matter of like people wishing bad things to happen to people
Yeah.
because, like, again, wrestling fans, they can't seem to just be able to differentiate the difference between an actual person and
They
who
also
their
can't differentiate.
character is on TV.
They can't differentiate losing your job and losing your life.
Right. It's
Fucking
it's
literally, it's some of the
I
stupidest
did
fucking
put out-
shit on Twitter, man. I swear
no,
to
I have
God.
to all day today. All day today, I have.
I mean, I did put out a tweet on Twitter saying, you know, it's horrible that they lost their jobs, you know, blah, 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 blah. Support everybody, blah, blah, blah.
But they're
it's
like
not
the
like I was
last in a huge line of people to lose their jobs.
I
And they're
understand.
already rich as fuck for the most part.
and then
You got,
it
you got
was
fucking
more
Carl
of
Anderson talking about his 8 fucking houses, and all of a sudden he loses his job. Oh, Carl, I'm
more
so sad.
be, like aimed at people to like be a little bit
Fuck.
more humble and like not attack wrestlers because they lost their job or those that didn't lose their jobs yet. You know,
Okay,
it
so
was
I
more
do-
of that type of tweet.
I do want to talk about that because there was one person, one WWE superstar that put out a video, and he's been under a lot of scrutiny lately, under microscope with the Will Ospreay thing. So you know where I'm going with this. He actually put a tweet out, and he not a tweet, it was actually video, and he said essentially, stop hating on WWE for what's happening, because I can almost guarantee you that they are as devastated, and he did it. They are as devastated. We are as devastated as those that lost their jobs today or got released today. This isn't something that they wanted to do. It's something that needed to be done a long time ago. But it's not something that they wanted to do. This pandemic thing has driven businesses to look out for their future assets, and there's nothing wrong with that. Vince is, and I said it at the beginning of the show, Vince is looking to the future. If he protects his assets now, he can bring those people back in the future. I don't. That's another thing that I don't think people understand, is that you can't just look at the now. You have to look at the future. This isn't just a fucking game that these guys are playing. This is real life.
I also don't think people understand how like big business operates financially.
Exactly.
Right.
Almost everything that they have money-wise is tied up in something else that makes money. They're not sitting there with $1 trillion in their bank account.
No.
That is being used to make money somewhere else. And in order to take that away, closes another avenue.
Yep.
Like it's not like it might be $4 million. It's like, oh, in the grand scheme, they have all this other money. But did they just have the $4 million lying around, not needing to be used? And instead of being like, oh, I'm a good Samaritan, here's $4 million to a bunch of people I'll never use.
Right.
The fuck? Who did that?
Another thing is, like, a lot of people, they think that all of these VPs and everything are getting their bonuses. And I had somebody tweet me today about this. Oh, well, they're going to get their bonuses. No, they're not. Everybody's on a pay freeze and and nobody's getting their bonuses. So you got to think too that all the talent that is still there, whether it's behind the scenes, wrestling, whatever, they're on a pay freeze too.
Yep, they're getting paid, but they're not getting bonuses. They're not.
That's what I meant. Like, they're on a salary increase freeze. Like they're not going to get bonuses. They're not going to any of that shit. Even the talent. It doesn't matter how high up they are. Until WWE recovers from this, nobody is going to be getting a pay increase.
The thing is, like, how the question I think that a lot of people need to ask now: how liquid is WWE in terms of company?
So right now, and I've heard that they have $500 million in cash reserves. Now, what does that mean? That just means that money is if you think it's cheap to run a fucking show, just them, they have to pay advertisers, even though they get
it's a ridiculous amount. And to the people don't understand it, man. They just don't understand the fact that just because they're $1 billion company doesn't mean they have $1 billion lying around.
I said that today at somebody today. Says I worked for a company that is worth $57 billion and they furloughed everybody.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they have $57 billion. The company itself is worth $57 billion.
Well, this is how a company stays worth $57 billion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You have to think of it as like what can I cut when I can cut it, because you don't know what the future is going to hold, and you always have to err on the side of caution. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure WWE is losing money hand over fist in other fucking things that they've invested in. Vince McMahon himself probably personally. So. Exactly. Like, I mean, but there's so many other things. I mean, this is why, like, you ever like watch any movie out there where somebody owns a lot of money and they'll always be like, how much you have on hand? And it's nowhere close to how much money they actually have, because it's all invested somewhere else to make a lot of money. And then, oh, you want to pull investments back? You're losing money. Yep. Every time you fucking try to bring money back and become more like have it more on hand, you're fucked. Mm-hmm. You're losing money. So not only was it $4 million, it would probably be $8 million to keep those guys around.
Yep.
And then I heard some of the NXT talent was told you have 30 days of pay and then you can go wrestle wherever you like. So some of them are going.
Well, going to wrestle where?
I don't know.
I'm gonna go wrestle my dick in my room.
I guess that they waived all the non-compete clauses, I guess, is what they're saying.
Whatever.
Yeah, see, that's a good thing. Well, I mean, I feel like WWE is always like villainized, and there's a reason behind it, because they've kind of done some things in the past, and the way that they kind of operate makes people look at them negatively. But a lot of the people that look at them negatively are looking at them like WWE is a person, because WWE is a person. It's Vince McMahon. Most other companies, you can't even name the CEO.
Right.
Well, and I think too, like what Chuck was saying, by WWE waiving their non-compete clause, it's going to show exactly how much WWE did not want to get rid of this talent. It was a necessity, and they realized that these people are gonna need to make money. So by waiving their non-compete clauses, they're doing the right thing for these talent.
Look at the difference in Lucha Underground. Wouldn't let talent go. When you're under
Exactly.
contract, staying with us forever. Fuck you. Your life is
Even when
ruined.
they were going under, they still what was her name? That one
Evil.
yeah, Evil Lee, she had a hell of a time getting out of her contract, even when they were already bankrupt. They were going under.
What's up, Ray Sean? How's it going, man?
Yep, and then
Yeah, I
same thing with what's his name? Joy. I think Joey Ryan. He's a scumbag, but he went to bat for. I mean, like it's he could be a real dick and said you locked in your contract, but he actually got all the good lawyers who got her out of contract. I mean, like it's good to see people come together. But yeah, Lucha Underground was a great company, but they sucked Rick in the business.
Yeah, I don't think
But were
Joey
they
Ryan- I
really a
wouldn't
great
say-
company though? If they were hoarding
they
talent
were
like
great.
that, and
They
this
were-
way I'm going to
Lucha-
use hoarding
Lucha-
talent.
Let me
Lucha
rephrase it.
Underground was good
they
while
were
it was
good
up and running.
They were a good company that put on a good product, but they weren't a good company.
And I
Right.
wouldn't say Joey Ryan's a scumbag. I just feel like he's very
Yeah.
hypocritical.
Merge. They are using it. They use it all the time. They used it when they did the shows last week, leading up to.
I mean,
they do
the
use
network
it.
is
Use
they're,
what?
they're
I'm not
using
in
the
the chat.
network every
Okay,
minute
so
of every
he
day.
said, I understand it's not cheap to make WWE programming, but they've bought out almost every known tape library in existence. They have a network with thousands of hours. Use it. Yes, but the reason that they did programming was because that they wanted to do WrestleMania, and that is why. I can almost guarantee you.
The network is being used right now.
Yeah,
Every minute of every day. Anytime anybody wants. That's what it's being used for.
I don't even know how many subscribers there
And
are to it. It's over 1 million. I know that.
Honestly, I think that they have they're actually putting out content frequently on the network, because I think that they have a whole bunch of new like behind the scenes type things with wrestlers and stuff.
I think what Merge is saying, put it on USA, NBC, Fox.
I gotcha.
I disagree with that, because why make
Well, you
people pay for
devalue the network.
You're
You
devaluing
devalue
the
the
network,
network.
yes.
And it also might violate the contracts if they did that.
The whole contract with USA and Fox
They have
is live
say with
TV.
It
Yeah.
is. It's live TV, and that's
They're only allowed to do 3 recorded. Well, I know with Fox anyway, they're only allowed to do 3
You think
recorded.
that would change or be able to be changed?
I mean, you would
TV
think so.
execs, I'll tell you this, I've said before, I'll say it again, TV execs are not very willing to bend the rules when it comes to that, because all they see are dollar signs.
Legally, you can't go live. We still expect you to go live.
Well, yeah, but then they can point
Well,
to
no,
that
what they probably do is they prorate the contract and say we're only going to pay you this much.
Yeah, well, it devalues the over. Okay, so instead of being, however, I would say $1 billion over fucking 5 years. Instead of that, now it's $1 billion over 5 years and 6 months. The money doesn't increase, but the time increases. It's like prison.
What do you mean he used to be in bed with NBC? USA is part of NBC Universal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what?
Event.
I'm sorry, but I kind of find it funny that the man who literally gave people shit about their contracts ending is now having to fucking deal with his own contract situation.
Oh yeah,
He's
well, I mean, there's a lot of irony in this whole fucking situation for WWE.
It's just super ironic.
But again, people need to, and I get it. WWE has been giving us bad programming. This isn't even about programming anymore. This is about the company itself. In order for them to survive, if they're going to survive, they had to do what they had to do today. And Vince has been around. He's been around for fucking 40 some fucking years. He's pretty sure he knows what the fuck he's doing. I don't
Now, I
think
will
But
say,
he would
I think
he wouldn't be doing this if he did not know what he was doing.
I think they
And-
could
And he had people
survive
with him.
without doing this, but doing this kept them in the positive.
Yeah.
In my mind, I mean, and for what? And I'm gonna say every fucking person out there is like, oh, you paid fucking $4.5 million or whatever it was for Goldberg to wrestle in Saudi Arabia. Oh, you paid $20 million for Brock Lesnar to show up. I'm like, just cut Brock Lesnar and you can keep these guys. Cut Goldberg, you can keep this. I'm like, man, if they could do that and still draw,
They
they
would have
would
done
do
it.
that and still
Yeah.
draw. The
every
fact of the
single
matter is, the
person-
people being released aren't drawing, man.
And that's,
and that's
exactly
that's the
why.
bottom line.
That's why
Yep.
Goldberg and fucking Brock Lesnar and Undertaker and all them guys are still wrestling today is because there is not one single wrestler right now on their roster that is drawing anything.
So the closest they've got is Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt.
And Drew
And the bottom
McIntyre.
line
And
is
Drew
McIntyre's not there yet in my mind because he doesn't have a character really
he'll get there.
as cemented as the Fiend.
Yep.
The Fiend is only
But-
over for his character, and Roman Reigns is over because he's Superman.
But the bottom line throughout all of this is everybody that was released, no matter how good they are, was not being utilized.
Yes.
So
Right.
they were cutting the waste, so to speak. Like I hate to say to
Trimming
call
the
them
fat.
like
They were trimming the
waste.
fat.
Yeah,
were
they're trimming the fat, and it's not that they're not incredibly talented people.
Like I think Leo Rush is
just
incredibly
weren't being
talented in ring. It's just unfortunate that he.
Yeah, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, like they're an incredible tag team when you do it, like when they were in New Japan.
they
But
were
the
just,
problem
like,
was
trash.
a lot of these guys that were released, yes, they were booked poorly.
Mhm.
And because of that, they ended up not being utilized. And I mean, what are you going to do? Just have them stand around in the back costing your company money when you need
Yeah.
it?
The thing is, you
They killed WCW. They had all the talent staying around. They had Lanny Putt. They had like Lanny Putt.
WCW
on
was
their
hoarding
thing.
talent. Now that's the
Yeah.
company that I think JP would agree with.
That's the
I
company
mean,
that
it's
just
like
fucking
that
bought
they did-
everybody and did nothing with anybody.
Yeah, they just,
I mean, it's like that. They had one of the most famous stories. Lanny Poffo said they signed me for 2 years. All I did was sit at home on my ass, collect a paycheck. He didn't want. Did he want to do it? No. But what's he gonna say? No, I don't want the money.
Now,
So it's
prior
the
to this,
thing.
WWE was literally offering that to some of their talent.
And it goes back to that thing, creative has nothing for you. So they're just gonna sit you at home, or they're gonna sit you back at catering. I mean, we don't like to use catering thing, but that's where they are.
here's another thing. This Saudi thing, I don't know when they're going to be allowed to go back over there because of all this. So Goldberg, he's gone. He is no longer
Yep.
with WWE. They they paid him his
His contract.
obligation. He's done.
Yep.
So for everybody sitting there, and I get what you're saying, you're being a smartass, but I've seen it all day on Twitter. Well, now they're probably going to do that just to bring Goldberg back. No, they're
No.
not. They need to conserve their assets, and that's why they're doing this. It's the only reason.
I mean,
they're doing it. I don't blame them.
WWE has done some like ridiculous things for talent, but that's because they are their own worst enemy. They have this really tough problem. Right now, WWE doesn't really know how to put a wrestler over that isn't already over.
Mhm.
They're really struggling at that level.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. Like, you look, man, fucking 15 years. You ask anybody now, regardless if they're a wrestling fan or not, name me a wrestler. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock.
15 years ago, John Cena, Randy Orton.
Yep, John Cena. People will still know
Brock
too.
Lesnar.
Randy Orton.
Batista,
Randy Orton.
Triple
Randy Orton's
H.
kind of
Triple H.
Brock Lesnar, Triple H, people will know because he's like
Batista.
such a figure and everything else. But like, I guarantee you, like 75-80% of the people you talk to are going to be like, they're going to say the old names. They're not going to be saying fucking Seth Rollins. They're not going to be saying Roman Reigns. The kids might even say fucking the old names,
Yeah.
which is sad.
Mhm.
In fact, the
kids
kids
will
don't
say
even
John
fucking
Cena,
follow
Prince
through.
Streak.
The kids don't follow through, man. They get old and then they're like, fuck this shit. It sucks.
Yeah.
Because it does. It fucking sucks.
Yeah, it does. It does. Now, there is one more thing I want to talk about, and it has to do with Jerry Lawler. I don't know if you heard what he said on fucking Monday.
Ramen soup or some shit.
Oh my god. Alright. So I got into a debate. It wasn't really me arguing with someone. It was actually a a conversation. Then it turned into fucking people shitting on the other person because they brought up the Kool-Aid thing. Fucking
Dang.
when Jerry Lawler says shit, it's nothing different than what he said back in 1998 or 1999.
I mean, the
or
world is different.
2002. He's always said the same thing. If you didn't have a problem with it now, why do you have a problem with it now?
That has you
Because
have
people
a
are
huge
sensitive now.
problem with that argument. It's like, well, if we kept slaves back in the 1800s,
No. What I'm
why
saying
would it
is-
be a problem now?
What I'm
Like,
saying,
the argument itself doesn't really hold a lot of water.
No, I'm not. That really wasn't my argument. What my argument is I don't think what he said was racist. Was it a little off color? Was it off color?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was off
What did
color.
you say exactly? And what was it about? Because I don't
It's a
even know.
ramen noodle power bomber.
Akira Tozawa did his swanton, and Jerry Lawler called it the ramen noodle moonsault.
You should have called it you should have called it the wonton.
Okay, so I get it.
That's at least,
Everybody's like, well, if you don't see it, then you don't. I get why he said it.
Yeah,
I
but
get
I
why
mean,
people are upset about it. I'm not saying that I don't see that. But I think him saying it had nothing to do with him being racist. I think him saying it was him trying to get heat. And it's a pretty shitty way to get heat. I don't think he's really racist because I've seen him do. He'll put anybody over. And I think that's essentially what he was trying to do with Akira Tozawa. He just didn't come off very well. Because Akira Tozawa ended up losing that match. But he's trying to put over the talent. And sometimes he just comes off as this guy that just is old, crusty. He's in his old ways. Yeah.
But what's the difference between this and someone calling fucking Kevin Owens Frog Splash the Hog Splash?
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and what
There is literally no difference, which is my.
Because it's not like well known. Like you never nobody ever when they talk about like cultural appropriation or anything, they're not gonna be like, oh, you fucking ramen soup, you.
Yeah,
It's just their fucking diet. It's part of their fucking cuisine.
It's Japanese noodle people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's essentially what it is. It's the bro. Like I tried using the bro kick as you know what a bro is, right? It's an Irish shoe. Sheamus has a finisher called the bro kick. That's racist. That's a stereotype because Sheamus uses a kick called a bro kick.
People just take offense to things, man. That's the thing.
But it
People just
literally
take offense.
translates to the shoe kick.
Too sensitive.
Well, I wonder
They
how
should have
many
made
of
the
those.
wonton. Is all I'm saying, man. I'm sticking by that.
Go ahead, Gina.
What?
Go
Well, I
ahead.
just said that if it translates to shoe, then his move is literally called the shoe kick.
It is. It's an Irish shoe.
He
It's a shoe
shoes
that Irish people
me.
wear.
He shoes
It's
with
a
his
type
kick.
It's a type of shoe. It's a type of shoe.
But I mean, in the end, okay, if he called his own move that, nobody would care. And the fact that someone is referring to it as that, he's trying to make a little play on the fact that he's fucking Japanese, whatever. It's different when, okay, racism is either racist. The only reason racism is actual racist is because it's malicious and someone's, actually trying to attack someone with something.
Mhm.
Now, if he
there's a
would have said
difference.
that fucking ramen noodle head son of a bitch, then I could see it.
Yeah, that'd be different.
That's different,
fuck,
though.
man.
That's racist.
I mean, look at how Cornette
That's what
got
I'm
in trouble.
saying.
That was.
I feel like you have to have malicious intent behind what you're saying.
He didn't have
It's
malicious intent.
And that's the
No.
difference between stereotype and fucking racism. And a lot of people forget that. Oh, you said that?
Well,
It's like, fucking shut the fuck up, man.
the week before that, he said, "I wanted the street kind of Kool-Aid the street profits are drinking." Okay,
You
so-
have to admit, though, Jerry Lawler does have a tendency to fucking, every single time that he tries to put a person or tag team down, it has something to, there's some sort of a fucking word that resembles their race.
Right.
in that put down
Well, you used to call
But
people
stereotype of it.
But, okay,
Then again, that's
so-
like any comedian out there. Most of the comedians we all love fucking prey on the low hanging fruit that is stereotypes that are based on race.
Mhm.
I cannot tell you. Joe Coy. Joe Coy is a huge fucking one. Okay, he's
your
a
brother.
Filipino comedian, and he makes jokes about fucking rice all the time.
Yeah, but isn't he Oriental?
He is.
Okay.
Or
but
like
the-
that. I
so
can't tell you.
apparently, and this is the argument that I had. It's not racist if they say it, but it's racist if I say
Oh,
it.
that's the way it's been for a
Yeah.
long time.
But you know
You
what? Though
racist?
Dave
You
Chappelle.
freaking racist! I'm pointing at you on my
in
TV
his
screen.
newest- in Dave Chappelle's newest Netflix special, he calls that shit out because like Dave Chappelle's married to a white woman,
Yes.
and he calls that
Oh,
shit
he's
out.
married to an
And
Asian
he
woman,
actually talks about how like he can't say orange soda or Kool-Aid
fuck?
or whatever
Is that
without
like a racist
somebody
thing?
thinking that he's making fun of black people, even though he's fucking black.
I think it's purple drink.
That just blows my
Let's just-
mind that this shit.
There's certain things that I can tell you because there's a way to be racist and nobody really should be, but there's also a way to just fucking play on the stereotypes of race that exist. We're not all fucking blind retards, okay?
No, you're right.
No.
You're right.
You see things, you laugh at it, even if you're like, oh, I shouldn't laugh at this, but inside you're like,
Yeah.
oh.
I know, right? I just, these are a couple of the things that have really been, and I only have 280 characters on Twitter to fucking say these things. So I'd rather, and I have the platform to go on here and say exactly how I feel. If
You know that they have this little thing called a plus sign at the bottom of a tweet, right? Now that you can.
well, not
Is
when
that-
you're tweeting at
There's-
somebody.
Oh
is that
yeah,
a
flying.
thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't tweet too often because I fucking hate the platform. But
No, but I mean, I can DM the shit out of somebody, but you only get so many characters. Heather finally reached out one night that the characters in the DM. But it boggles my mind. Number one, and I kind of had the question answered. Why are people so upset? It's still out there, and I'm still trying to find the solidified answer as to why people are so upset. The simple answer. I'm not looking for this complex fucking 35,000 word fucking answer. Why do people care if WWE is deemed essential? I know why they're deemed essential. Do I think it's right? I personally don't.
I think it's just
care.
something like people have an opinion on because
Honestly, I don't think that
probably
there
should be
is a
closed to
simple
stay open. But I'm gonna light this candle and stand outside in eulogy for all the brave men and women that
Shut up.
lost their jobs today.
All the people that just basement again, just all the people that lost their jobs. They were released from their contracts. They didn't get fired. They were released from their contracts.
Don't want their job.
They did lose their jobs, but they didn't get
Yeah,
fired.
they'll get the
They-
stimulus package,
they'll
and
get-
then they'll go back to work in a business that makes way more in 1 year than I'll make in my life. But light my candle, suck my own dick.
Right? Hey, sometimes that happens, but I just
the only one
I just
that I would
wanted
feel
to
bad-
voice. I wanted to get my voice out there because fuck Twitter, because it's only 280 characters at times. Now, if I do a tweet myself, yeah, I'm hitting that plus button. You've all seen me do it. So,
Yep.
The only ones that I would really feel bad for are if they're not originally like Americans,
mhm.
because then they're going to be forced to, unless they're
Live
rehired
off that $450,000
they're gonna be
minimum
forced to
per
go back
year
to
they've been making.
their country.
I know. It's sad.
No,
What's your malfunction?
he's just being a smart. Um,
I don't know how fuck they're gonna do it, man. Carl Anderson has like 6 houses.
Oh my god! Shut up.
How's he gonna do it?
Which
He's got
one
a
does-
hot Asian wife and 6 houses, man.
Which one does his hot Asian wife live in?
I
Because he
haven't-
talks about it all the damn time.
I haven't heard much from Bobbit. Bobbit, what are your thoughts on all this shit? Are you sleeping again? Oh, there he is.
No, he isn't.
Maybe not.
No, I ain't asleep.
It's a 10-step
My
process.
thing about is this.
What do you got to say about everything? You've been awful quiet. Go ahead.
As far as the releases go, I knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time.
I
And
do too.
this whole essentials thing, I don't fucking care because apparently I'm considered essential, and I don't even fucking know why.
Well, you're working at a fast food restaurant. You provide food.
Truck drivers, Hobbit, that's why.
Trust me, we have been so dead that we have to clean for hours on end now.
Well, then you're not considered essential. You just tell them, say, hey, look here, bitch, I'm here to
Exactly.
make food. I'm not here to clean your fucking restaurant. I'm just kidding. But no, I get why you are there. I mean, I don't care if WWE is considered essential. I could really give a shit. I'm not even considered essential, but I'm still working from home. If that makes sense. What about Jerry Lawler? You know anything to say about him?
Nah, fuck it. I feel the same way about him as I do about half the shit that Jim Cornette says. I don't give a fuck.
Well, Jim Cornette actually came out and defended Jerry Lawler. Said he made a joke on fucking TV, and now everybody's
Of
all
course
up in
he
arms. Well, Jim Cornette's not racist though.
No, he's not. But Jim Cornette is one of those guys that is very, very stuck in the old way of doing things.
So am I. I was not offended by anything that anybody said.
But you wouldn't be because you're stuck in the old way of doing
I think
things.
old style wrestling needs to make a comeback, to be honest with you. It'll work.
Speaking of that, NWA Power's come back next week.
I'm talking about. Never mind, Trek. Just stop talking.
Just
kidding, man.
He ruined it.
No, you said like the old school style of wrestling. That's what the old school style wrestling is, the old NWA. That's what Corgan likes to do. And
So
they
what?
just come back.
WWE can't have old school style of wrestling?
No, they can. I'm just saying that was my opening, my segue, saying that NWA Power's coming back next week.
Quit
I
being
understood
quit
what
being
you were
a
saying,
race.
Chuck.
Quit being a stereotyping.
What the fuck?
Stop racism me.
I'm just kidding.
I
Anybody?
got you, Trey.
No, I think wrestling has there's a place for all types of wrestling, but they have to incorporate all types. Right now, we're too much into the fucking flips and theatrics. There's a place for that, but if it's everywhere, count me out.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Oh, and another thing. If Piper Nevin is listening to this, can you please have a Taco Bell anal evacuation all over my face? That would be great. Thanks.
Disgusting. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I don't know why you want that.
And she's
Well, Chauncey, that's up to you. If WWE's dead to you, I could give two fucking shits what you watch, how you watch it, and where you watch it. I don't give a shit if you want to take fucking, what's the Sammy Guevara and shove him up your ass. Have at it.
WWE is what it is. It'll go back to being WWE when things come back. I mean, right now wrestling is dead to me because I hate no audience.
It's bad. Like I said, I barely watched it, and the match with. I don't know how intently you watched it, Gina. I just could not get into it. It was,
I stopped watching. I stopped watching it all.
every match on AEW tonight was good for me, except for that last Moxley match. Moxley and Jake Hager. It wasn't. I think
Jake
if they
Hager
would
is garbage and Moxley is not much better.
No, that wasn't the situation. They had JR called the match by himself, and I think that if it was, he didn't do a bad job or anything. Don't get me wrong, but I think that if Tony and Chris Jericho would have called the match, it probably would have grabbed my attention just a little bit more because they're able to keep the audience involved.
But I don't understand why they couldn't just put them at like different places in this arena or have them just watch it and react to it. Like you could pipe in the fucking audio from anywhere.
I think that's what JR did because JR is at home.
Yep, that's what.
So
that's what
my
Moro did last
understanding,
week.
they pre-recorded the match because it was a no holds barred match, of course, John Moxley. So they were all over the arena, and from my understanding, they pre-recorded it and then JR called it.
Right.
I mean, for fuck's sakes, we're all over the world, and we can call a fucking wrestling show together if we wanted to.
We could. Right.
And that's what Moro did. That's what Mo did last week. He did it from his home office. He called the match. That's why they didn't show the booth because he was at home the whole time. They had him double over.
I wonder
Have-
which house
the
fucking
same thing
Carl
seemed to
Anderson's
be-
watching it from.
Sorry, Basement?
What?
I wonder which house Carl Anderson is watching wrestling from.
Georgia House, boy. No,
I don't
that's
know.
what
Fucking hell, man! Like I can't stand
he's
wrestling
probably
Twitter.
got five of the 6 houses up for sale now. But no, that Kevin Kelly's been calling matches at his house for past couple of months. Like, cause him and Gino and Chris Charlton, they're going back in the NJPW archives and they're doing English commentary for matches that happened like fucking 10, 20 years ago.
Basement, just let her go.
No, sorry.
It's archives, Gina, not archives.
You know, it's
I
archives.
like my potato with archives and sour cream.
You know, it's your
Hey, Bootah.
nice sour cream and archives.
Sour cream.
Okay, archive.
And Bootah.
Archives. Archives.
Anyways, they're going back to all those fucking old matches, like all the really, really popular matches that were really good, and they're doing English commentary on them. So they've been doing it for months.
God, 1983 Starcade, man. I'm telling you.
It's fucking great.
Watch that shit.
Don't look. Don't look.
Watch that shit. Take a bunch of Quaaludes and watch it.
Arcade that
The
basically
Harley
the
race match was good.
stab him
I think we
in
were
the
fucking
eye.
inebriated by the time we watched that. But you can watch that on the Horny Goat. Me and Basement
I
watching
do
along.
believe that. I remember getting a fucking tweet or DM saying I want to stab myself in the fucking eye or some shit like that.
Bring that
Fucking
back.
great.
You start
What
getting
is
Great,
that?
man.
back.
So watch the Yeti in his debut and
Oh,
only
Yeti.
match.
I think I
Yeah,
got
I don't know.
messages. It was in the Horny Goat chat because I remember somebody saying I want to stab myself in the eye.
Hey, the 1983 Starcade main event was fucking fantastic. Ric
Yeah,
Flair
good.
moved every 2 fucking seconds.
I want to kill
it-
yourself. Drink every time a Ric Flair move in that match. Oh my god.
Or every time he says woo, or every time there's a botch. These two have gotten obliterated many, many times. But
We'll
We need to bring back
another show like that where we watch a Ric Flair match. Probably
And
1984.
die.
and die, exactly.
But yeah, so I'm gonna get out of here. I just like I said,
Before we
I just
go, though,
wanted to
I
get my
wanna
voice
say,
out
man.
there, and I know some of you guys have been following and get your voice out there. It's something that I needed to do. This week in wrestling over on the Horny Goat will not be
Maybe.
live. What?
Sorry, Basement was trying to say something before we go out.
Go ahead, Basement.
I do want to say for everybody out there, this is sad time. It's like
I
the
fucking
Auschwitz.
this shit.
It's like the Auschwitz for professional
Oh
wrestling.
my god! I thought
Oh.
Jesus fucking Christ! I am so sorry, everybody out there.
Trust me, Chauncey, it's a good thing they got released. Trust me,
Uh,
they're gonna be okay. I promise.
If you're out there, you lost your job and you're getting the stimulus package, make sure you spend at least half that on Pro Wrestling Tees
Yes.
for Curtis Axel.
I hate you.
I'm not spending a goddamn dime on them motherfuckers. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to get my thoughts out there, and I know people want to get their thoughts out there. It is what it is. Look, we're going to make it through this. It's just going to take some time. Give it some time. Be patient. Wrestling will get back to the way you want it to be. God, I hope it changes, but I don't see it changing. I'm about done with it, to be honest with you, but I'm still a wrestling fan, and I wanted to get my thoughts out there on this shit because I'm sick and tired of people telling me how I should think. Fuck you and the horse you rode in. That's all I got. to
You should be sad.
What's going on with this weekend?
I'm happy as fuck because I seen it coming from a fucking mile away.
I do feel bad for anybody that lost their job,
I do.
wrestlers included. I mean, it's fucking shit regardless. But I mean, to go to that place where you're literally like fucking, you're gonna put a teddy bear out on the road for where somebody got a car accident. That is what Twitter is right now.
If
Yeah.
and
I do.
Merch said it best. He just said it. He said today makes World War II look like a picnic. Sad times. Say something.
hmm
That is
The people
that
out
is-
there
that is
fucking
the way
crying in their
some of
napkins
These,
to
some
lick
of these
my
fucking
fucking dick.
shitbirds on Twitter think it's like everybody's gonna fucking die now because wrestling, because fucking Eric Rowan got fucking released from the WWE. Like, I give a shit. That guy should have been off my fucking TV fucking 8 months ago.
Think about fucking Eduardo out there that used to make subs for a living that can't anymore, and he's living off fucking ketchup packets.
There you go.
And you know what? Bottom line is, most of these people that got released today had nothing but good things to say about WWE, and they were thanking the WWE over and over and over again in all of their videos, saying how grateful they were to even get the shot to begin with.
Right.
So that being said, anybody else got anything they want to say?
JP, what were you gonna say about This Week in Wrestling?
Oh, we will not be live. We've already talked about it on this channel. I'm not going to talk about it again.
I mean, this
Unless-
was kind of like This Week in Wrestling, to be honest.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you guys
Oh.
when we talk. What? Oh my god. Go ahead.
And Popper Nevin, my DMs are open, girl.
Oh my
I'm
I'm
God!
ready
Stop
for
it.
that ass pounding.
Why do we pause for those two?
I don't know.
But
All right.
guys, seriously.
All right,
Seriously.
everybody, have a wonderful
Pray
night. Thank you for
For the
listening to
millionaires.
me.
Pray for them.
I will. I'll pray for them. Fucking not. Everybody have a great night, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.
I mean, Carl Anderson literally has enough houses for his whole fucking family to live in their own house.
It's
Hey,
enough
listen,
to play
Luke,
Monopoly.
I'm gonna go back to New Japan anyway.
He has enough to play Monopoly in real life in.
It was fucking.
Shut up, Trey.